It's Renee Stanley for Movie Review Relay. How to Get Away with Murder. The first thing that happened when we tuned in is we saw this beautiful black woman. She appeared to have wandered onto the set without her makeup and her hair. Because in television, you go through that department. It's called makeup and hair. Everybody knows that. It becomes a distraction. But for whatever reason, this is how it is. All right, so the episode opens with the college kids partying, legal eagles surrounding a bonfire that appears to be an introduction to a flash-forward clip, and the screen flashes the words weeks earlier. The legal eagles observe Michaela's melting down over a lost ring while they're trying to figure out how to get the murder weapon back into Professor Keating's house. Laurel asks Frank to help, so they're going to get that together. We see a scene in which Professor Keating is crying. She's upset with her husband about the fact that he lied to her about the dead girl, Lila. They argue, and during this argument, we learn more about Lila and Sam. He saw her several times at his office, and he finally confessed to lying to Professor Keating, but she knew. She's a smart woman. She's very cynical. Additionally, we learn more about Professor Keating's backstory. She was a mistress to Sam. Evidently, he had a first wife, and she was the mistress during that marriage. Very disappointing. Oh, shame. All right. So, however, we're going to switch to the legal case. The legal case this week involves a young man who's accused of killing his abusive father. Professor Keating gets him off with some strategic jury selection. Okay, that sums that up. Another scene reveals that Professor Keating knows Bonnie retrieved Rebecca's confession tape. She says, "Don't you pretend as if you did it for me." She lets her know. But Bonnie's conflicted because Bonnie has seen so much go on in that house. Can you imagine? She's seen all the fights between Sam and Professor Keating. So she knows a lot. She could probably hurt Professor Keating. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. So I have to tell you that Professor Keating is so distraught. She starts to drink. She goes to seek out Nate, that fine, big, handsome detective that she fools around with. But he wants nothing to do with her. I shouldn't say he doesn't want anything to do with her, but he refuses her again. This is not the first time he's done that. So, but he just lets her know that, yeah, Sam, I lied to you before. It's all this lying back and forth. So anyway, he says, "I lied to you before. Yeah, your husband might have had something to do with Lila's murder. His alibi may be no good, which means, you may have to help him out and defend him." Rebecca and Sam meet so that Rebecca can be evaluated. And in doing so, Rebecca says Lila was a spoiled sorority girl and was seeing Mr. Darby. But Rebecca sees the wallpaper on the wall, and it's the same wallpaper that was in the picture. So she gets spooked, and she runs out of the room. And Professor Keating sees all this because she's eavesdropping, from a room adjacent to where Sam and Rebecca were having this evaluation. And at that point, Wes confronts Professor Keating. He confronts her because he sees the wallpaper too, from his dealings with Rebecca. And we kind of knew that Rebecca and Wes had a special kind of bond. I guess we'll see more of what it is. But there was always something there. So Wes confronts Professor Keating and says, "Yeah, your husband was Mr. Darby." That was the one that Lila was saying. All right, so until we meet again, it's Renee Stanley for Movie Review Relay.